Hello, my name is Nancy Crawford, and I am currently an intern here at Good Morning America. And today I have the distinguished honor to interview my mentor and Good Morning America co-anchor, the exceptional Robin Roberts.
You're the one that is so exceptional. We've really enjoyed having you here as an intern these last 6 months. Hopefully we kind of rubbed off on you a little bit.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Robin, thank you for taking the time for this interview. I am beyond grateful for this opportunity. As a little girl, I would mimic the late Walter Cronkite as he was reporting.
Really?
I would pay attention to how he presented the stories to the camera, how he held his papers. Over the course of your career, and looking back at the younger Robin, who have been some of the broadcast journalists that have inspired you, and why?
Oh, that's an excellent question to start with. Because I originally started off in sports, I looked to sports journalists like Bob Costas, Greg Gumbel, those types of people. And then to have the opportunity to not only see but work with the Diane Sawyer. So when I made the transition from sports into news, and she was somebody that I had watched growing up. She doesn't like it when I say it like that. I was maybe not growing up, I was a little bit older. But and I always thought that success leaves clues, and like how you were looking at Uncle Walter, as we used to call him. That's wonderful that you did that. And I did the same thing. Success leaves clues. I didn't want to be the next Greg Gumbel or the next Diane Sawyer. You didn't want to be the next Walter Cronkite, but you can learn from your mentors. You can learn from those people. And so I would glean little things from each person that I idolized, if you will, and then personalized it. And I took those qualities and I made them my own. I didn't want to be like them. I wanted to be myself, but I was really grateful for what I learned watching them.
Yes. Great. In your book, Brighter by the Day, you share with your readers that you were offered a position with ESPN. However, you turned it down to accept a position at a local station in Atlanta as a sports reporter.
Yeah.
How did you know you weren't ready to accept the first offer? And what did you do to prepare yourself to say yes if the opportunity were given to you again?
Oh, I was praying that opportunity was going to be given to me again, Nancy. I didn't know. I mean, people, I can say now, oh, I knew right away that this was going to work out. I didn't know it was going to work out, but I knew I wasn't ready. Why? I took the time to know myself. I took the time to know my weaknesses as well as my strengths. And at that time, I'd only been working in 2 local markets. I hadn't worked in a major market talking with major sports teams. And again, this is what I wanted to do at the time, be involved in sports. And so I didn't want to be the answer to a trivia question. You know, what black woman was hired by ESPN in 1987 and fired in 1988 because she didn't know her stuff? So I said, hey, thank you, I appreciate it. I thankfully was offered a job in Atlanta, Georgia. So now I'm covering the Braves and the Falcons and the Hawks, getting some more practical experience, some more season experience. And so when ESPN came calling again, I was ready, and I was there for 15 years. I wanted staying power. So it's just taking the time to really get to know yourself, and you got to take some risks in life. And I didn't know it was going to work out, but I knew that I wanted to give myself the best possibility to have some staying power if I did get there.
Yes. Okay, going back to 2005, I remember the day when you were covering Hurricane Katrina. You were in Gulfport, Mississippi, and you had just came on live. Charlie Gibson had asked you, had you contacted your family? How was your family? Because when you had left New York, you didn't know the whereabouts, you didn't know what they were doing or where they were at the time. The emotion that you showed, the tears that were flowing, I cried with you. I remember watching that, and I felt your pain. You had thought you were going to be fired.
Yeah.
But it was the direct opposite that happened. Your then peers, they embraced you, and so many people thanked you for the realness. What techniques do you use to navigate emotions while reporting?
it's not really a technique, it's being in the moment, being authentic.
Yes.
And that's what really, just even you were counting that morning. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yes.
And I had just been named the third co-anchor with Diane Sawyer and Charlie Gibson. I'm having that imposter syndrome. Like, how did this woman who was at ESPN and sports for all these years, how can I be sitting next to these two? They never made me feel that way. They never, but I was feeling that way. And so go down to the Gulf Coast where my family is from and had lost contact with my family. Was there to do a job, but I couldn't go on the air until I found my mama.
Yes.
And I was fortunately able to find her okay
Yes.
right before the air, and then getting back to the live location and buttoning up and going, okay, let me do my job. And I was like, blah, 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 and this is the situation here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Charlie, back to you. And it was Charlie who said, Robin, when you left here, you didn't know about your family. Were you able to find them? And then Nancy, that's when the emotions, as you know, watching.
Yes.
I thought I was going to be fired because that was 2005.
Right.
As a journalist, you did not show emotion. Mm-hmm. And I thought, boy, that's it. And just the opposite. People were grateful that I showed who I am, that I showed that I was fearful for my family, and that I was grateful that they were alive, and that I knew what people tuning in, not knowing about their loved ones, I knew what that felt like, because that had been me. So the technique that I learned, if you will, be true to yourself.
Yes.
Be in the moment, be authentic, and that has thankfully served me well.
Yes, yes. As I have shared, I've wanted to be a broadcast journalist since I was 8 years old. And here I am 50 years later, making the midlife career change. Although my career path went in a different direction, I have now made the change from finance to journalism. I'm curious to know, was there ever a time that you wanted to take a different career path?
Oh, I wanted to be a pilot. Oh, yeah,
wow.
got you. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Because my dad was a Tuskegee Airman.
Okay.
First black flying Air Corps in the military. I'm in college. I'm a little bit disillusioned because even though I said I wanted to be a sportscaster, no one looked like me doing that. So I was like, oh, I'll do news. And I didn't really want to do that. And so I was about to start my sophomore year, and I'm disillusioned. I'm thinking, wow, I don't want to do this. Well, what's my second passion? Oh, flying. So I asked my parents for permission to drop out of school. They were very proud that as the first in their families to go to college, that all of their children had a college degree, and I'm the one bringing up the rear, so I'm going to break the record. And I thought that would be like, no, young lady, you go back to college and you make. And they said, hey, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be a pilot like Dad. They said, okay, to do that, you need to study for this test. And if you pass this test, your dad's going to help you study for it. And then you can go into the military and that. So, they said my dad helped me. I think he rigged the test, to tell you the truth. I have no proof of that, because I failed miserably. And the deal was, if you fail the test, you got to go back to school. And I went back to school. And that's when I said, I'm going to be a sports journalist. That's what I really want. I don't want to be in news, though I'm so grateful for where I am right now. And so, but it was that moment of just realizing that, okay, I was scared to go for what my real dream was, and that was to be a sports journalist at the time. And so I'm grateful that my parents, supported me.
Yes.
Because it could have gone either way. And you could have been getting on a flight going, hello, this is your pilot, Robin Roberts.
Captain Robin Roberts.
You're on your flight too. Yeah, and that would have been fine. I would have been happy too.
Yes, yes. Wow, wow. Mm-hmm. That's good to know. Good to know. Well, bringing it to the end, but starting at the beginning. While scrolling through Twitter in 2020, I came across your post, one of your posts for your morning reading and prayer, your morning message and prayer. And I remember little man Lucas running around on the kitchen floor. Amber was your camera woman, did a great job. And your message for that day was truly the connection that God made between us, because it was about being victorious. And I needed that particular day and at that particular time in my life. Oh. What inclined you to use your social media at that time for your platforms for that particular type of post? Because at that time there were several people that were doing different things. You had people doing exercise, you had people doing music and doing mini concerts and things of that sort. But I'm interested to know what inclined you to use that, to post those type of messages and prayers to inspire others. And did you at any point think that people would come to that page every day, not only to be inspired, but to pay it forward by inspiring others?
As you are doing.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for showing your emotion, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you. I had no idea at the time. It was a very dark time for the world.
Yes.
Not just for us here in the country, but it was something that we were all going through at the same time. And being at home, broadcasting from my basement for Good Morning America, because being in lockdown. And I felt like, what can I do? I know how I was feeling. I know that I was feeling lost and I was feeling alone. Yes. And even though I had my now wife by me. And my parents always taught me to be of service to others. And how can you be of service to others? And as you just said, how I was paying it forward too, because there had been someone in my life, no one does this on their own, who had lifted me up in a very dark time. And so that was my way of doing it. And just come from a long line of, I think, my sister Sally Ann, who saved my life as my bone marrow donor. My grandma Sally used to have what she would call her quiet time. We'd read Streams in the Desert. And so I just always looked to my mother and father, who taught me the 3 Ds about being disciplined and having determination and having the Lord. That was the 3rd D, the Lord.
Yes.
And so I thought, well, maybe others will get something from this. And I had no idea that you were watching that morning. I had no idea that you and I would become friends. I would have no idea that you would be one to inspire me by your patience and persistence, and you refusing to let fear keep you from your destiny and what you want to do. And so I'm just very grateful. I'm very grateful to be the daughter of Lawrence and Lucy Marion Roberts, who taught me those traits.
Yes, Robin, thank you. Thank you so much. I am forever grateful for this opportunity. Thank you for taking the time to sit down and have a conversation with me, and all of your guidance that you've given. I am forever grateful for you, and I will always remember, every day I say to myself, God's delay is not God's denial.
Oh.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, Nancy, it's not just me. It's the people who've stayed here, who were behind the camera, who are in the control room, Lily in the group, Danielle. There are a lot of people that are putting this together for you. It's not just me sitting across from you right now. So that tells you the impact that you have made on a lot of folks during your internship here. Never lose sight of that. And thank you all very much.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for starting your day with GMA.
Oh, I like that. Thank you for starting your day with GMA. Good done. Good job.
And now a big honor for our boss. Bob Iger is now officially an honorary Knight of the British Empire. The Disney CEO was presented with the honor in a ceremony led by Prince William at Windsor Castle yesterday. With the royals celebrating artists, politicians, diplomats, and humanitarians, Iger's wife, Willow Bay, posting about the experience on Instagram, calling it a proud family moment. Even more special, this honor was announced in 2022, making Iger one of the last people to receive such a title from the late Queen Elizabeth. At the time, Iger posted about news on social media, saying that it is one of the great honors of his life, and writing, "I have great affection for the people of the UK and have always appreciated and been inspired by their extraordinary contributions." This morning, Donald Trump is a convicted felon. The former president and Republican nominee found guilty as charged on all 34 counts by a jury of 12 New Yorkers. The historic verdict marks the first time a former president has been convicted of a crime. I'm Nancy Crawford, ABC News, New York. Many cameras were aiming right here at the courthouse in downtown New York. However, as lawyers were inside selecting jurors and elective for the case against former President Donald Trump, there was a loud yell of fire. I, as many turned around, within less than 20 feet away, saw flames shooting in the air, not realizing it wasn't paper, burning, wood, or any other object, but a human being. That human being was Max Azzarello, a 37-year-old man from Florida.